in bright mansions above, in bright mansions above. Lord, I know you dwell up yonder in bright mansions above, in bright mansions above, in bright mansions above. Lord, I know you dwell up yonder in bright mansions above. Well, and truly, it is good to know that the Lord dwells in bright mansions above. That is why the book of John, chapter 14 says, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. But I go, that I may go prepare a place for you, that where I may be, there ye may be also. Now, tonight I am determined that we need to do a little bit of a talk. You and I must talk, and in our talking, we must find a resolution in what we are talking about. We must find an answer. And I'm delighted in getting to know that if your countryman or if your country calls you to do public service, it is your duty to do so. Now, same thing applies to the kingdom of the King of Kings. What I have found here is that ex-presidents are always respected when they come in to a building or when they meet their fellow men wherever they meet them. They always honor them as ex-presidents. And also, what you will find is that if there was a captain or a general in the army, even when he leaves the army, he is always celebrated by those who knew him by his grandeur title. But this morning, one thing that has made me wonder is that ex-Christians are never celebrated. And if you were considering and giving up on this army that we signed up to, you should rather think twice, because nobody's going to celebrate you. You are on your own, my dear. Therefore, you might as well stay on with it just a little one more time. Now, let us go on into the book of Numbers, chapter 32, and let us read beginning from verse 6. Numbers chapter 32, we're going to read starting from verse 6. The scripture says, "And Moses said unto the children of God, and to the children of Reuben, Shall your brethren go to war while you sit here? That is the question that Moses asked the children of God. And he says in verse 7, "And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them? Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land." Now, I just want to let us speak very briefly here today on a subject of asking yourself that if my brethren are involved in a warfare, what gives me the right not to get involved as well? Now, dearly beloved, I am so encouraged into knowing that oftentimes it's just not you that might not just want to get involved in this battle, or that you might just feel that you would rather do something else rather than being involved. You are not the first one to do so, because when we look back into history, our forefathers have had to deal with the very same issue as well, as in the tribe of God and in the tribe of Reuben. Now, what I want you to understand here today is that you cannot afford to sit still and watch your own countrymen go into warfare. Therefore, may it be your portion to know that there is a battle going on out there, and it is a battle between the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. It is the battle for the souls of man, and that is what is going on. And see it in the spiritual realm, and see to it that you get involved as well. You cannot afford to sit out there and say that it does not concern me, or sit out there and say that I just might need to get a little slumber here and a little folding of hands here and there. But what I want you to understand, and today, because we are friends, isn't it? Therefore, let's chat and let's talk as friends. And we are talking heart to heart. You and I, nobody else, and nobody sees this. It's just you and I, and we're having a very good talk. And this is to help us, including myself, to move on and get involved in areas whereby we have lacked. Now, what is going on is the question that I may ask myself. Now, in the battle that we are involved in, friend, victory is for sure. Victory is certain, because the battle is not ours, but it is the Lord's. Don't you go and start beating yourself in the chest and say, I have won the battle, because it is not you that is involved in this warfare, but the battle belongs unto the Lord. Now, what you've got to find is that we must be always abounding in the Lord's work. That is what the Apostle Paul says in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Let's read it, and let me be scholastic here, and let's see what 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58 will say to us, because sometimes we tend to quote things and not confirm them by reading the word. So let me just go into 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast. There you are. Be ye steadfast. When you look at the children of Gad and Reuben, they were rather not keen on getting involved on the battle, because they felt that they were better off not getting involved. But Moses says, would you just dare afford to sit still whilst your own brethren are involved in a battle. Remember what I said to your forefathers whilst they were in Kadesh Barnea. Now, I want us to carry on in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. He says, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Now, I want us to understand here today that whatsoever we get ourselves involved in, our labor is not in vain in the Lord. And therefore, let us hold on fast. But the Apostle Paul says, be ye steadfast in everything that you are doing, unmovable, knowing that whatsoever you do in the household of faith, it's not in vain. The Lord will reward you. The scripture says, for the eye has not seen, neither hath the ear heard what the Lord is got in store for those who love him. Now, I want you to stay with that right up or without scripture as an encouragement, because you will find that we cannot afford to remain still whilst our countrymen are involved in a spiritual battle. We cannot afford to remain so aloof whilst our brethren are involved in a warfare. It is a battle that requires us to get involved, because it is a battle for the souls of mankind that the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light is fighting. But the kingdom of light is more likely to win, because it is the Lord's doing and it is marvelous in his eye. Now, what I want you to begin to think about is that here is this man talking to me today, but how am I going to respond? I want you to respond by rising up and begin to determine in your heart that I will by all means get involved in this spiritual warfare, and I shall ensure that I become part of it. Because by you staying behind, you are not doing yourself any favor. The only favor that you can do yourself is to get involved, because when you get involved, there are many blessings that will come your way. Now, what am I saying tonight? I'm saying that this is the only sure thing you can involve, or you can invest your precious time in. It is to make sure that you get involved in the battle, and it is a battle for the souls of man. Now, I strongly believe that we will be hearing more from you, telling us and giving us a testimony in everything concerning your response to this call.